She trained at Parenya to a group of hospitals and is part of the Research International's prestigious pioneering women in reconstructive surgery program. So there's a lot we're going to talk about, and I've got a lot of questions. If you do as well, keep them coming. But today we are really, truly celebrating. Good morning.
Good morning, Erica. How are you today?
Absolutely lovely. Thank you so much for taking the time out to join us this morning. And really and truly, we are celebrating you. Once again, thank you so much. Now, we got to get into it. What inspired you to take on plastic and reconstructive surgery? I mean, yeah, what had you seen? What had you thought of? Because I can only imagine you have to see something and think, you know what, I need to fix these things.
Well, so I was always going to be a surgeon because I'm one of those people who wants to go in and fix the problem right there and there. I have no patience. So most surgeons want to cut out the problem, right? So it was always going to be surgery for me. But the reason why I went into plastic surgery is you get to be a little bit of an artist as well. Not only a surgeon, but a little bit of an artist. And the fact that that pushed me to even go there was the fact that we don't have a lot of these people in Zimbabwe. You know, there are a lot of patients. There was like a group of patients that were being neglected because for a while the healthcare, we were like, if you're alive, you're fine. And you'll find that in plastic surgery, we don't really deal with life or death situations. We deal with, can I make this person's life better? Yes, they're alive, but what is the quality of life they have? So I was drawn to that fact that it was like a neglected set of people that were not being addressed, to people who had burns and now cannot use their hand, kids with cleft lips that were born with deformities, and then they just are never normal. So it was one of those things that was like, it was something that was lacking, and I felt that it was just a neglected corner in the health system.
We are witnessing almost a craze with BBLs and yeah.
It's an exciting time for
It's an exciting, yeah, exactly. I was about to say this must be an exciting time for you, because obviously you said you got into it to almost help people look better and feel better for, you know, things they couldn't have sorted out. But BBL is a different thing altogether. It's almost like I think it's an ego thing. When you get people, do you actually do BBLs?
Yes, I do. And so what you're talking about is that set of plastic surgery, that's the cosmetic side, right? Because plastic surgery has the reconstructive side, which are the people who actually have issues, like they are not normal, they have difficulties with things. And then we have the cosmetic side, where we are just improving someone's form. So it's a very long conversation to have about whether it is right to do cosmetic surgery or not. But I do feel I still stand on my point about it's not about life or death, right? It's about quality of life. So if you really feel that your small breasts are keeping you away from living your best life, so why can't you fix it? If it can be done safely and it can be done in a way that's not going to put danger on you, then why not, guys?
How does it feel to be a woman that helps other women, like you said, feel better about themselves with maybe enlarging their breasts or buttocks or whatever, and you not doing it to yourself? I've witnessed the same with female doctors, and I'm like, why are you so comfortable with being yourself? Have you ever gotten to a point where you want to talk someone out of it, to say, you look perfect like this, because I've heard there's so many defects that come with BBLs, or maybe you just mind your business and you take the check?
So as a doctor, when a person comes to you, they're coming for information, right? And then you are the advisory. You play the role of the advisory. So you would tell them, okay, your issue with your tummy makes sense, but this is what makes sense, what is within reason. Of course, you'll see and shows like Botched or whatever, where people go overboard, where someone says, I want to look like a cat, and the doctor indulges them. I do feel there's a time where the doctor must draw the line and say what you're saying is becoming now unreasonable. But when it's within reason, I do think if someone feels that they want bigger boobs and it's within reason, it's not going to put danger on them, then what is the harm? I am a person. So the reason why I became a plastic surgeon, I'm very pro women looking and feeling good about themselves, is I'm sure a lot of people have commented on social media, whatever, and said, "Oh, Chiremba is very naturalista. Things." And I'm like, I want women to feel good about themselves. I'm all about feeling good, women feeling good about themselves. If you're someone who needs a weave to look good about yourself, then why not? If I feel good with natural hair and no makeup, but if you're someone who wants you to a small little waist to feel good, why not? I am all about women feeling good in our differences. We're very different people and we like different things. So let's get what we need in order to feel better about ourselves.
I like that. I like that. Share with us maybe the one, I mean, can you share that moment, a patient story maybe that has stuck with you for years, where you really feel like this is what I do this for? Of course, without mentioning names, but just a situation where you really felt grateful and felt like you picked the right path in life.
I have so many of those. I will actually share a story about one that was a cosmetic surgery one, so that I want people to know the positive sides of getting cosmetic surgery. So I had a lady who had been through a divorce. She had gained a lot of weight, right? And not gained weight in the medically dangerous way, but like in the wrong places kind of thing. You're 4 kids in, your husband has started beating you, and then you ended up like leaving the marriage, right? And she walks in, she's like, I need to feel good about myself, right? And she tells me her whole entire story, because a lot of these things come with a really long background to it. And she just says, I don't feel like myself. When I wake up, I don't feel like myself. And she was wearing very frumpy like sweaters. You know, like it's hot and someone is just wearing a frumpy sweater, her hair is not done and everything. And she went in and got a tummy tuck and breast augmentation. And I must say, towards the end of, because there comes a time where a patient is healed up, right? And they like, okay, now we are done with your healing process and everything. Now you can go back into the world. She had started wearing things that were, you know, like you look at a person and say, oh, they look good about them. They feel good about themselves. She had a weave on. She was wearing a tight-fitting dress. She looked good. It wasn't about anyone else. It wasn't about a man. It wasn't about anything else. She looked brighter, and even everyone from the person on my reception was like, oh wow, that woman has gotten a new lease on life. So that's really why I do it. It's not about looking like Nicki Minaj, honestly. For me, it's about women feeling their best. Come on, we give a lot to the world. Yeah. Why can't we get a little bit back?
I like that, because it's not, I like the part where you said it's not about men or anything else. It's just really about her and feeling good for herself. It's a conversation we should have on another day. You've spoken about the importance of expanding reconstructive and hand surgery services in rural Zimbabwe. Why is this mission important and personal for you?
The reason why I went, because plastic surgery has a lot of like subspecialties, right? People, as we've talked about reconstructive, we've talked about cosmetic surgery. Hand surgery is actually one of the other parts of surgery that actually, weirdly enough, plastic surgeons field. And the reason why hand surgery is so deep to me is because I've seen a lot of people where you get into a car accident, right? And your hand is not fixed well, right? You injure your hand is not fixed well, and now you can't. Yes, you are alive. Yes, your hand is there, but you don't have that fine movement that's needed for certain things. As a surgeon, I have thought many times about if, like, let's say one of my fingers was just now not moving the way it should, it will completely devastate my life. So I've just thought there are people who are like artists who carve figurines, people who like do a lot with their hands. That changes someone completely, and it's a change. The hand is so small that it changes in a way that people don't actually really notice. But you yourself, you feel it. You're not yourself anymore, and you can't do what you used to. And that's why hand surgery is very passionate to me.
I should have led with this, but it just hit me now that a lot of people might not know what reconstructive surgery is. So maybe do us the favor of not asking Uncle Google and really explaining to us, those of us that may not know, what is reconstructive surgery? What do you reconstruct? What can you not reconstruct on a human body as well? Okay.
So I'll just talk about plastic surgery in general and the different branches, right? So plastic surgery, as you know, is split into cosmetic surgery and reconstructive surgery. The cosmetic surgery is the ones that we talk about all the time, the one that's getting all the attention, which is enhancing your body when you look normal already. Bigger boobs, smaller boobs, flatter stomach, so the liposuctions, the BBLs and everything. That's cosmetic side. Then there's a reconstructive side. The reconstructive side is when someone has had something that has made them look not normal. So we're talking about kids who are born with deformities. We're talking about people who've been in accidents and it has injured them, and they need to return to function. And we're talking about people who've had cancer and it was removed and left a really big hole in them that needs to be reconstructed. So all plastic surgeons, what we do is we deal with soft tissue. anything that is on the body, the skin and what's just under. So we remold that so that someone starts to look normal again, or someone becomes functional again. So our issue is plastic surgeons re-establish form and we re-establish function.
Whilst today is about you, I'll take on one last question that keeps popping up. I think I've seen it 4 times already. When you are skin grafting, where do you get the extra skin? So say maybe I've got a big patch, maybe through an accident. There's nothing there. How do you get, or where do you get the extra skin? What material do you use to maybe make it look like skin?
So it's wounds that need a skin graft, right? Are wounds that are too deep to heal by themselves, right? But what we do is we actually take skin from another part of your body. We don't take it from anyone else because you can't actually share skin, if that makes sense. It'll be rejected.
I think I get it.
It'll be rejected, like you can't just give someone a kidney or whatever. It has to be a certain match. But with skin, it's even more difficult. You could give someone a kidney, but you wouldn't be able to give them skin. It's very highly sensitive. So your skin has to come from yourself, right? And what we do is we'll take it. If you have a wound on your hand, we'll take the skin from maybe your thigh, and then we place it on your hand. Where we take skin from, we take a very thin layer. That yes, you will have a wound there, but it's so thin that it will heal itself. It's like when you get a graze, when you brush yourself and you get a graze, it then heals. So it will take a very thin layer of skin that will be able, so that the wound will be able to heal by itself. But that other wound, the deeper wound, will be helped by that very thin layer of skin.
If you're just joining us, thank you so much for making us your station of choice. It is the Morning Galaxy on a Friday morning, uniform to the show. We do have Sheroes, and we're talking to Dr. Tinga Nyoni. And you feel free to send in some questions. Of course, it's about her, but 1 or 2, I'm pretty sure she's more than happy to answer for us. And listen, surgery can be emotionally and physically draining. How do you take care of yourself? I mean, you're out there making people's lives better, feel better. But what about you? On a down day, I mean, you don't have a surgeon.
I'm actually a very normal person. I like the normal things that people like. I go to the gym a lot. I like to watch a lot of TV, like an unhealthy amount of TV. I like a glass of wine here and there, obviously.
As you should,
yes.
you should.
But I like the normal stuff. I like to go out. I'm a very outgoing person, so I'd like to travel a lot. In my downtime when the surgeries have gone down, I like to travel. I like new cultures, to visit new cultures. So that's basically it.
A question that is not particularly about your line of work. If you were to talk about things that you are hoping will change in Zimbabwe in general, I mean, I'm talking about people's behavior, I'm talking about the kind of love that we do give, or maybe the lack thereof. I just hope that one day as a people, this is what we should do better. What would that be?
I think as Zimbabweans, we have become people who are in a survival stage, right? God knows there's a lot that has happened in our country that has put us in this place, and we cannot be blamed for it. But I just do feel we need to go back to the Ubuntu way of thinking. We have become very as long as I'm eating, as long as my family is eating, then everything is fine. And that a lot of the times that is what stopped us from going forward as a country. So I do feel that at least, and it's going to take a lot, the economy and the environment has to shift in order for us to move from that survival instinct type situation. But I do hope we get to start looking at our neighbor and say, if I am okay, how's my neighbor doing? And if we can fix that, then we can be. Ubuntu was there for a reason. It started from Africa because it made us better. We were able, if my neighbor was starving, therefore I am starving. So I really hope we can get some semblance of that.
I always say, a contribution to society, at least just be nice to people.
Yeah.
At least the least you can do in life. Do you have any females that you look up to? I laugh a little bit because these are the questions we were asked in Krish, and I think the older you get, you actually start to pick up Sheroes that you look at and think, okay, I would like to be like this woman, or I pick up certain characters or characteristics from this woman. Do you have one?
I wouldn't say I have a particular one. I was raised by a single mother, so obviously all everything that drives me emulates from how hard my mom worked in order to get us where we are. But generally, I I am a fan of women who are in high positions in general, and I always look at them and always want to emulate a certain aspect of them. So I don't have one particular person I can right now and point to, but I generally, let me say, women who are in positions of power really inspire me, because it's not easy. Because there's a lot of men complaining that women have become the men, and we're saying no, we're not becoming the men. We're just in a role that requires us to be a little tougher. So I like to see women in power who are doing it and still remaining feminine while they're doing it. So it's one of those things that I really like to emulate.
I will go and vice versa the question and say to you, what would you say to the young girl that is listening to you now? I mean, we've got so many dreams when we are growing up, and maybe it sounds like a hectic thing to want to be a surgeon. So what would you say to a female listening to you right now that wants to follow in the same path as that you're in right now?
I would say make sure you love it. And this goes to the female who's trying to be a surgeon, the female who's trying to be a carpenter, the female who's trying to be a pilot. I think a lot of us, we're stuck going for something that get the bag kind of situation. But I do think loving what you do is important. And a lot of people have said that you will eventually make money as long as you're very focused in whatever you're doing. There are a lot of people who've made money from shoveling dirt and things of that sort. So passion is very important. And if you're someone who wants to go into medicine, there's a lot of times that you'll be tried. It's a trying trip. Medicine is terrible. But as long as the passion is there, you'll be able to weather the storm. So liking what you do really goes a long way, and I don't think people emphasize that enough.
I've got a question. I'm going to pick one. I think it's fair to pick one question. It says, please can you ask doctor about how bleaching can affect procedures? I've heard actually that if you bleach, it will be hard to recover. So
yeah, that's a terrible another trend that I think it's getting better now, or people are just using better chemicals. But
I second. I think they're just using better.
I think they're just using better products. But like a lot of the times, a lot of the bleaching that was done before, especially, was using steroids. Now, what steroids do, yes, is they make your skin lighter, but they also make it very thin. They make it paper thin. And what you want, a skin that is strong and thick heals better. It's just the rule of that. So if you have skin that, if I am now doing my stitches and it will varuka, obviously your healing is going to be compromised severely.
So would you say do not bleach?
I would say do not bleach. Yes, yes, I would say that.
You know what? I think it's just right that people are asking questions. Maybe we should look into a show where you
Talk about
talk about skin altogether, because we've got a lot of those questions. But today we're celebrating you, so we're trying to move away from asking you questions. Listen, if you were, and I do know that you've got your accolades, the degrees, and but what do you hope people say about you, when you're gone? What footprint do you want to leave that's not a degree and not that? What do you want us to think about you, even in your absence?
I pride myself with being a very easygoing and a nice person. I generally hope people say that about me. Kuti, yes, she had a lot of, she had achieved a lot, but she remained nice and someone you could always talk to. Not get to the point where you're so high up there that people cannot even approach you.
You've achieved the highest board exam score across 14 countries. What was that feeling like for you? What is it like for you? I mean, they surely, when you sit down by yourself, you're like, okay, fine, I did that.
So when I wrote my exams, it was a very trying time. It was during COVID. And so it was a very lonely time in life and all that. So I got a lot of time to study and all that. So it was great to get high scores. But honestly, it was just great to just get over the boulder, because a lot of the times you when you're preparing for exams and there's so much going on in the country, you're not practicing as much because you're alone, right? During COVID, you're not studying, you're not getting your teachers are not there. Obviously, they're trying to stay away from COVID. You're not doing as much surgery as you should. So honestly, getting the high score was just taken away from, because even like I didn't even get like a celebratory what you call this thing. We didn't even have a proper graduation, so it really kind of passed like without an applause of some sort. But what it was I was just glad to be over it. It was a terrible time. COVID was a lot. So yeah.
If you could change one thing in the world, what would you change? The world entirely.
Boy, that is a lot. That is, what would I change? Hey, that's a difficult one, Erika.
Listen, I just asked you, but I'm thinking about myself. I don't know what I would change.
Exactly, what would you change? You would let's the border systems. I would say no more visas.
Oh yes, please.
Let us just go where we want, guys.
Yes, please. Let's take up this last one. With the coming of AI, what impact does that have on your profession? Because, with us, there's a fear every day. Like some chick could wake up and be popular, an AI girl. What is it like for you? Like, is there any chance? Yeah. I think there is, we at least maybe as surgeons, we're lying to ourselves. We're lying amongst ourselves. In our meetings, we'll be telling each other, no, we're far from being able to replace a surgeon. But it's what you call this? It's a complementary service. The AI industry is a complementary service to surgery, obviously. Now you're able to have information more handy. You're able to automize your system so that things are more efficient. By the time you get to the cutting, everything has been done for you by computer. So I think it has made things a little bit more efficient. But in terms of there's robots doing surgery now and things of that sort, so it's definitely getting there. But in Zimbabwe, we're far from it. But it's just it's for us, as speaking for myself, I think it has just made things a little bit more smoother, because surgeons were well known for being terrible at everything else, good at cutting but terrible at everything else, so it does the rest of the work of the things that we're not good at for us. Listen, I don't even know if I can trust you to cut my skin, so never mind a robot. So I don't see this aid, what's it called, AI aid that we're in, really affecting your job. I've got to say to you, thank you for coming through, but before we seal it off, what's your take on being a career focused woman and having to pair it with marriage? Because I feel and think that the world we're in really forces us to choose one.
So it's been something that I've been thinking about a lot lately. So it's a very tough role to navigate. I think there are few people that I've seen it do it and have done it well, very few, and I'm talking a handful that have managed to get both. Unfortunately, with the African tradition, it is very polarized, where you can only be a mother that stays home and takes care of, make sure you have clean for your husband and cook for your husband by the time you get home, or you're just a working woman who's just a terrible mother kind of situation. But I do think it requires a good partner. If you find a partner that still allows you to be yourself, and unfortunately sometimes it takes a man who is comfortable with changing diapers for a couple of hours while mom is in surgery, finishing up surgery. And I think it just requires for both of us to change our roles a little bit, as opposed to the traditional roles that we're used to. We need to kind of shift ourselves and give each other grace and be able to step in for each other in order for things to work. And that is my take on that.
Altogether, thank you so much for coming through and sharing your nuggets from your life with us today. It's been an absolute privilege, actually. How do we catch up with you on social media?
So I am on Instagram, I am Dr. Tinga, and on Facebook, I'm Tinga Nyoni. Yeah.
Absolutely lovely. I do hope that you caught up with that. If you didn't, you can catch up with it on our Facebook page. That's at StarFM_ZW. And we will talking to Dr. Tinga Nyoni on Sheroes. Uniform to the show every single Friday. Happens at 10:30. And cheers. Thank you so much. Have a marvelous weekend.
Thank you for having me.